It was a Monday morning and it was drizzling outside. People were leaving for their work. Some were in their cars while others were waiting for the bus at the bus stand. Rohit, a decent-looking corporate worker, left for his office. He drove the car and looked around when a sudden glimpse of a girl made him stop his car. He looked at the girl in the mist and thought, "She seems to be her." He was still stuck in his thoughts when the girl looked at him, and both had eye contact. The girl looked carefully at Rohit, who was sitting in the car. Rohit moved his eyes and started looking around, pretending he was not looking at her. His heart dropped when he saw the girl approaching his car. The visibility was improving as she was heading closer. The girl reached near the car, looked inside and smiled. "Rohit! What a pleasant surprise!" Rohit smiled and exclaimed with a sudden feeling of joy. "Natasha! Is that you?" "Yes, it's been so long. It's raining. Come, sit inside the car. I will drop you," Rohit said with some shyness. "I don't want to be a burden on you. I will take the bus. I was going to college to get my degree," Natasha said in a low voice. "Don't be stupid. Come inside. I will drop you," Rohit insisted. "Thank you," she said while she sat on the seat. "It's been a long time since we have talked." "For years? What are you doing these days?" Rohit asked, slowly moving the car forward. "Yes, it's been long. I am preparing for government exams. It's such a headache. It is not easy to crack the exam with so much competition," she replied in a low voice. The drizzling was now a full-fledged rain. Natasha looked out of the window. "It has started raining fast. I haven't got any umbrella," she said with a tense look on her face. "Don't worry, I will drop you in front of the college and you can use my umbrella," Rohit said in an assertive tone. "Thank you, Rohit. You're still the same old Rohit who used to care and help everyone," Natasha chuckled. "Only I cared," Rohit murmured. "Did you say anything?" Natasha asked. "Nothing," Rohit said with a grin on his face. "Do you remember the first time we talked in school? You texted me, replying to some social media status of mine." "I don't remember." "You still remember?" she said with a mysterious look on her face. "Yes, I remember the exact words of that text. My face lit up when I saw your text as if I wanted to talk to you for ages and didn't know it myself," he said with a nostalgic tone in his voice. Natasha chuckled. "How much I wanted you to be a part of my life. How much I wanted you to look at me the way I look at you. But some things are always out of your control," Rohit murmured. Natasha looked at Rohit in confusion. "Is everything all right? I am curious to know if you remember anything about the time we spent in school," he asked in a melancholic tone. Natasha did not say anything. Rohit felt a heaviness in his heart. They both did not speak for the next 10 minutes. Rohit broke the silence. "I want to ask you something. It has been inside me for many years." "Sure, what do you want to ask?" she said curiously, raising her eyebrows. Rohit took a deep breath and said in a single breath, "Did you have anything for me at that time? I mean, your texts were as if you had something for me." Natasha processed what just happened. After a few seconds she said, I don't know. You were an interesting guy in the school days, so focused on the work and being reserved with yourself. Anyone would have been curious to text you. There were many girls in the class and only you texted me, and I already had a huge respect for you. It felt like I was on cloud 9. And you said that anyone would have been curious to text me. Not everyone is kind enough to text first. Not everyone is like you," Rohit said in a soft tone. "There is nothing special in this. I am as friendly with others as I was with you," she said, raising her eyebrows in assertiveness. The rain continued and Rohit looked into Natasha's eyes and asked with an emotional tone in his voice, "So, those few days when we had long conversations and exchanged texts were nothing? I can't even understand how you took a few days of texts so seriously. Those were just out of curiosity. I never had the opportunity to talk to you much while in school as you were very reserved and confined to yourself. So I just texted out of curiosity. I generally like talking to new people and making new friends." That's it. What is so special in that? She replied snarkily. Rohit's hand started trembling. I used to get up every morning with so much excitement. Your good morning texts would make my day. I used to leave all my college assignments undone just to talk to you. I forgot about my career plans while talking to you about yours. I used to be available for you all day. I remember once I skipped my lunch just because you were calling for some college assignment. I never felt so attached to any other girl in my life, and you are saying what is so special in that. Everything about you is more than special for me. He brooded over in his mind while looking at her. You are right. There was nothing special in that, Rohit said in a low voice. Rohit, don't overthink anything. Being so emotional is not good, Natasha said in a soft tone. See, I was curious to know more about you, talk to you. But then, she paused with a mysterious look on her face. But then? Rohit asked curiously. But then I got to know about your choices, your nature. How much I wanted you to be the guy I was looking for. But it was not to be, she thought. What do you mean by it was not to be? Rohit asked with a heaviness in his voice. I mean, I got stuck in my career plans. I simply didn't have the time to talk to you. I wanted to, but it wasn't to be, she said in a soft tone. Meanwhile, they reached Natasha's college. Natasha stood up and started walking out of the car. Won't you come with me? Before Rohit could reply, he got a call. Yes, sir. I am on the way. I will be reaching the office soon. Natasha out of the car with the umbrella. Seems you are getting late for the office. Bye, Rohit. See you, Natasha said while opening the umbrella and walking towards the main gate of the college. Bye, Natasha, Rohit said with a heaviness in his voice. Rohit continued to look at Natasha, who gradually got farther and ultimately disappeared. As he was thinking about her, his phone started ringing. He took the phone out and checked who it was. It was not Natasha's call. Why was I expecting her call? Why would she even call? Why am I thinking so much about her? I know that she considers me just her friend, but even then He pondered over while the call got cut. Rohit got out of his car and started remembering all the good memories of Natasha and him. His mind wandered back to the days when Natasha would be excited to talk to him. He was reminded of the days when Natasha would wake up only after texting him, "Good morning," and would sleep only after texting him, "Good night," when he would wake up feeling excited to talk to her. The time has changed, and so has Natasha. I wish she could be mine. I should have expressed my feelings to her on that farewell night. He muttered to himself. In the rhythmic pattering of rain he could feel falling on him. The rain poured down on him, soaking his clothes and hair. He stood there, umbrella-less, feeling the raindrops mix with his tears. Just as he was starting to walk away, his phone rang again. "Hello?" he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, Peter. I won't be coming to the office today." The rain continued to pour down upon him, but Rohit didn't move. He just stood there, alone, wondering what could have been if only Natasha had liked him back. It was the day of the long-awaited farewell party for the high school seniors. After months of grueling schedules and relentless studying, the students were eager for a night of fun and relaxation. However, Rohit, the class topper, wasn't particularly enthused. For him, it was just another ordinary day. Unlike his classmates who spent hours shopping for the perfect outfit, Rohit didn't bother. He felt perfectly comfortable in his familiar, casual clothes, the same ones he wore to every birthday party. The venue was decorated with delicate lights casting a warm glow all over the place. Colorful balloons were arranged gracefully on the walls, giving the shades of different colors. A subtle scent of roses filled the air with an inviting atmosphere. The party was about to start when the students started gathering, their noise filled with excitement and eagerness. Natasha, a decent-looking girl, was wearing a pink-colored top coupled with midnight black jeans, along with stylish strappy black heels. Her purse was casually hanging from her shoulder, making her presence more enlightening. Her demeanor cast a spell of genuine joy and playfulness and brightened the venue more than the decorative lights did. Rohit was dressed in a plain yellow hoodie and blue jeans. His quiet and reserved demeanor set him apart from the more extroverted people around him. He was drawing comfort from his own company and was lost in his thoughts when he suddenly caught a glimpse of a radiant smile, creating a ripple of joy reaching him even from a distance. He was drawn towards the effortless grace and the beauty of happiness of the smile of a girl standing a few meters away. As he was captivated by the dreams he was having of himself and her, an announcement struck his ears, jolting him out of his daydreams. Please give a big round of applause for a girl with the cutest of smiles, Natasha on the stage. She will have to perform a task as per the chit picked up by her. Rohit's heart skipped a beat when he saw Natasha walking towards the stage. Her walk was gentle and unhurried. Her smile cast a glow on her face. With each footstep of her, Rohit could feel his heartbeat racing. He was almost at the edge of his chair, and thumping in his chest was deafening his ears. Natasha walked towards a jar filled with folded chits and picked up a random chit. Sing a song. She read the task written on it. Everyone around her cheered. She looked around and saw Rohit, who was standing silent between the enthusiastic crowd. I am going to sing my favorite song. Please bear my voice, she murmured, holding the mic in her right hand. Rohit, standing motionless on the edge of his chair, could feel that he was falling more and more in for her with each passing moment. He muttered to himself, I have never felt these emotions any time before. Should I tell her what I feel? Under the dim lights of the stage, she started singing the song. In the dark night sky, he searched for sun. His was an illusion that she was the one. Her smile for him was a light so bright, guiding him through the darkest night. His presence for her was just twilight, a presence of warmth barely in sight. Her voice cast a spell on Rohit, leaving him speechless. He took a deep breath and said to himself under his breath, what were the odds of her singing my favorite song on the stage? This is one of the best memories of my life. He smiled at the sight of the very moment. As Natasha was on her way back to her place after her performance, Rohit's gaze followed her footsteps moving gracefully along the carpet, and with an air of nonchalance, her hair glowed in the lights as she passed by. Many performances followed, but Rohit was standing motionless, spellbound by the sight of her. He was standing enthralled by the thoughts of Natasha, singing his favorite song. As he was lost in his thoughts, he heard the voice of a girl approaching him from behind. Rohit, everyone dancing, why are you standing alone? Natasha asked in an energetic voice. Rohit looked behind him and saw Natasha standing with a cute smile on her face. He was drawn into a spell of shyness. Rohit knew that he was too shy to dance in front of everyone. All of a sudden, the song sung by Natasha started playing. She chuckled. Come now, it's my favorite song. Won't you dance with me on my favorite song? Rohit could not believe that the girl of his dreams was calling him to dance with him. He thought, how should I tell her that it's my favorite song too, but I do not feel comfortable dancing in front of so many people. Before he could reply, Natasha grabbed his hand and took him to the dancing crowd. She smiled at Rohit. Let's dance. And started dancing holding Rohit's hand. Rohit looked into her eyes and thought, does she have any feelings for me the way I have for her? Rohit was still standing outside the college gate, thinking about every possible thing he could have done or should not have done to impress Natasha, thinking about how life would have been had she been a part of his life. He was lost in his world of thoughts, walking back and forth, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Suddenly, he saw a crowd of students pouring out of the college. He was immediately drawn out of his world of thoughts, suddenly feeling excited and nervous at the same time, excited about meeting Natasha and having an opportunity to drop her home, nervous about what he would tell her about what he was doing here outside her college all day. I want to spend some time with her, but what should I say to her? I can't tell her that I have taken a leave just to drop her home so that I can spend some time with her. She would judge me for being so unaccommodating. She might become furious. An ocean of thoughts was crossing his mind, and he was getting more nervous with each passing moment, when Natasha arrived and looked at Rohit still standing at the college gate. Rohit, what are you doing here? Didn't you go to the office? She said in an interrogative tone. I took an off from the office. He stammered in a hesitant tone. Why? She asked. I was already late for the office and water is jammed in most of the areas. I have informed the boss. Before Natasha could say more, Rohit said, Your work is done. I forgot some important documents at home. I am going back. She said. Why were you waiting here for the past 2 hours? Rohit didn't say anything. Leave that. Tell me, did you eat something? Because I am hungry right now, she said with a curious look on her face. No. I didn't feel like it, Natasha interrupted. Come, let's go and eat from a famous pizza shop here. I used to go to this shop during college time, she said fluently. As you wish, Rohit smiled. They walked to the shop and sat inside. Natasha gave the order. You will love this, she said while holding the menu in her hand. So, Rohit, how is the job? She asked while sitting on the chair opposite to him. It is good. The work culture is particularly good, but promotions are hard to get. So, I am looking to switch. Oh, I see, she said with a serious look on her face. Rohit, I have to tell you something, she said in a hesitant tone. Yes, what do you want to say? He said with a curious look on his face. Actually, she hesitated. There is nothing. If there is something you want to say, please say it without hesitation, he said, thinking keenly about what that could be. It's nothing. Forget I said anything, replied Natasha with a mysterious smile on her face. Meanwhile, a voice came from behind. Sir, your order. Both of them wolfed down the pizzas within a few minutes. How was it? Asked Natasha, raising her eyebrows. Can your choice be bad? Rohit smiled. Natasha chuckled. Of course. You should feel lucky that you have a friend like me. I think we should leave. It is already getting late, said Rohit, getting up from his chair. Yes, let's go, said Natasha, taking her purse from the table. It was still drizzling outside. They sat in the car. It's such beautiful weather, Natasha said with an air of excitement in her voice. I will never forget these moments. My first long drive with you. Rohit muttered to himself under his breath. Rohit, where is your phone? Let me play some music. Rohit handed over his phone to her. Natasha played the song. In the dark night sky, he searched for sun. His was an illusion that she was the one. Her smile for him was a light so bright, guiding him through the darkest night. His presence for her was just twilight, a presence of warmth barely in sight. I remember you sang this song at the farewell party. It is your favorite song, right? Said Rohit with a melancholic look on his face. You still remember? She said with excitement on her face. Of course. I also remember you were dressed in a pink top with midnight black jeans. And you were also carrying a purse with you, Rohit replied. You remember me more than I do. I am so lucky to have a friend like you. Friends like you are rare these days, Natasha said with a heaviness in her voice. I wish I would have never met you, Rohit whispered while glimpsing at her hands. Did you say anything? Natasha asked. Nothing. Here's your stop. You can take my umbrella with you. It's still drizzling, Rohit said while handing over the umbrella to Natasha. Rohit, remember earlier I said that I had something to tell you, she said with a bit of hesitation in her voice. Yes, what is it? I will tell you about it in text. For now, I will be heading home. It's getting late, Natasha said while getting down from the car. Thanks for the umbrella, Natasha said while opening the umbrella. You didn't want to tell me that thing now? Rohit said with a serious look on his face. I will text you tonight. Bye. She closed the door and left. Bye, Rohit said with a mysterious look on his face, still thinking about what she might have to say. Rohit drove his car, holding his steering wheel tightly as the car sped along the road. His mind raced faster than the car, captivated by the thoughts of what Natasha might have to say. The way she was hesitant to tell me, it seemed like there was something serious. Does she have feelings for me? Maybe she has realized her love for me and so was not able to say it in person. But her behavior didn't suggest that she liked me. What could she say? An ocean of thoughts surrounded his brain, while he was driving with his heart heavy, and every mile adding to the weight. After a journey of what felt like 1,000,000 miles, he reached home. He went to his room and lay on the bed. His breathing began faster. He started having cold sweat. I don't feel like doing anything now. Why am I having so much restlessness? What might she say? He thought. After an evening that felt like a day, Rohit's heart beat faster with each hour. His dinner was lying cold on the table. He kept waiting for her text. She must have forgotten. This girl is impossible to understand, Rohit muttered to himself. It was midnight. Rohit was lying on the bed, reclining himself against the headboard, overthinking all conversations he had with Natasha. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with a notification. His heart skipped a beat when he saw the name of Natasha on the screen. Hi, Rohit. Are you up? I am not fine. Tell me what you want to say. I'm getting impatient, he replied with urgency, the screen filled with text at a pace that matched his rising heartbeat. You will be very happy to know this, she replied. I will be happy to know. Does she like me and is about to confess the same? Rohit pondered over in his mind with a smile on his face. You are the first friend whom I am telling this to. I haven't told any of my friends about this yet, Natasha replied. Rohit's mind filled with romantic thoughts when the screen buzzed with notification. I am getting engaged, Rohit. He could not believe his eyes as he could barely read what he saw. He didn't reply. Hello? Rohit? Rohit lay motionless. The screen kept buzzing with the notification. Suddenly, the phone rang. He came back to his senses and looked at the screen. He picked up the call in a hurry. See. Congrats, Natasha, he said with stammering and heaviness in his voice. Are you fine, Rohit? Why are you sounding so low? Natasha asked. No, everything is fine. I am very happy for you. Congratulations, he said with an insincere happiness in his voice with tears in his eyes. Won't you ask when the engagement is? Natasha said with an excitement in her voice. When is it? Rohit asked while wiping his tears. It's on the same date as your birthday, she said. Great! What can be a better gift than this? Now I got one more reason to hate my birthday, Rohit said with tears brimming down his eyes, somehow sounding normal. What? Nothing. So are you happy? Rohit asked. Natasha didn't say anything for a while and then said, You must come, Rohit. I will be waiting for you. Natasha, it is getting late. I have to take a rest as tomorrow morning I have an important meeting. Can we talk tomorrow? Rohit said with an air of hurry on his face. No problem. Good night, Rohit, Natasha said. Rohit hung up the call and was overcome by a flood of emotions. He collapsed onto his bed, his face buried in his hands. With his tears streaming down his cheeks uncontrollably, he could barely speak as he muttered to himself. This is not fair. Rohit tried to hold on to the normalcy of his routine, diving back into his office work as if nothing had changed. Every morning, he dressed up, grabbed his coffee, and headed to work, just like he always had. On the surface, he was the same, but beneath the facade, her absence gnawed at him. His thoughts were a constant whirlpool, pulling him back to memories of her. As he typed out emails or attended meetings, her face would flash before his eyes, distracting him in moments when he needed to concentrate. The routine that once felt like second nature now became a series of actions he had to force himself through. Every task took longer, every conversation felt strained, and the energy he once put into his work was now being sapped by the thoughts of her. At night, when the day's work was done, the silence of his room amplified the emptiness she had left behind. He would sit at his desk, staring at his computer screen, trying to drown out the thoughts of her, but they always found a way back in. It wasn't that he wanted to forget her, he couldn't. Days turned into weeks turned into months, and months turned into a year, but nothing changed till one day. When he was lying on the bed, he received a call from an unknown number. He picked up the call and stood up after hearing the voice. "Natasha?" he said while breathing fast. "How are you, Rohit?" Natasha said in a low tone. "I am fine. This is your new number? It's been a year since we talked. It is my second number. I called you and texted you, but you never responded. You didn't even attend my engagement and my marriage," Natasha said in a low tone. Rohit didn't respond. His hands trembled and his eyes started twitching. Natasha broke the silence. "I called you to invite you to a function. This might be the last invitation. I want you to come to this function. Promise me that you will not skip this one. Promise me," she said while holding her tears. "I promise. I will attend this function, but what function is it about?" he asked. "I have sent you the digital card in the chat." Rohit looked at the card and his heart felt heavy. Some days later, Rohit arrived at the function, the air buzzing with laughter and chatter. As he moved through the crowd, exchanging pleasantries, his mind wandered back to the past, to memories of those who once meant the world to him. And then he saw Natasha. She was standing across the room, her back turned to him at first, but he recognized her instantly. His heart skipped a beat as he took in the familiar curve of her shoulders, the way her hair fell gently down her back. It had been years since they last saw each other, but time hadn't diminished the effect she had on him. He started to move towards her, drawn by an invisible thread. In her arms was a baby. His breath caught in his throat as he watched her cradle the little one, her face soft and radiant with a motherly glow. The life she was living now was one he had once dreamed of sharing with her, but that dream had been left behind along with their past. She turned back, glanced at Rohit and approached her. She came near him and hugged her tightly. "You knew you would come." Rohit hugged her back. "I had to keep the promise." Natasha's eyes got wet. She wiped them and said, "You take some rest. I want to talk something personal to you after the function ends." Rohit waited for some hours in the bedroom. In the evening, Natasha entered the room with the baby and sat in front of Rohit. "So, today is Avi's first birthday. She looks just like her mother." Rohit smiled. "Rohit, you haven't changed," Natasha chuckled. "You didn't attend my marriage and stopped calling or chatting with me. Leave those old things, Natasha. You tell me how you are and how your marriage life is going on." Natasha looked at Rohit and said, "Nothing's going as I expected. Everything was going all right in the early months, but then everything crumbled. 7 months ago, my husband and I were coming from a religious trip when our car fell off the cliff. I sustained some critical injuries, but he died on the spot." Natasha wiped the tear coming out of her eye. "I am sorry to hear that. Please be strong. Everything will be all right," Rohit said while consoling her. "Everything is not all right, Rohit." Natasha stood up and walked toward an almirah. She opened it and took out an envelope. She gave the envelope to Rohit. Rohit opened the envelope and read it. He felt like he'd been punched in the gut as he read the page. His heart sank, and his mind went blank. He couldn't believe what he was reading. It can't be. He looked at Natasha, who was standing in front of him with her head down. "Natasha, I don't know what to say or do. I am feeling so helpless." He read the page again, trying to process it all. His eyes welled up with tears. "I don't have so much time left. The doctor said it could be a maximum of 3 to 4 months, Natasha said and sat in front of Rohit. "This can't be happening." Rohit held Natasha's hand, trying to comfort her. "I am scared, but I am more scared about Arvi. She's only 1. Natasha started crying. Rohit tried to console her. Natasha took control of herself and wiped her tears. She looked at Rohit and said, "I need someone to take care of her. You're the only one I trust. Nothing will happen to you. You will live and see your baby growing," Rohit said while holding her hands. "Rohit, you aren't listening. It's the last stage and I don't have much time left. You promise me that you will take care of her." Natasha put Rohit's hand on her head. A tear dropped from Rohit's eye and he said, "I will take care of Arvi. I promise. I will be her rock, her haven." Natasha smiled. "Thank you, Rohit. When we reunited, you asked me what the bond between us was. I don't know what I should call it, but I know that you will always be there for me. You are honest and pure of heart. I love that honesty and that purity of heart. As I entrust Arvi to you, I know she is in safe hands. Everything will be alright. I'll take care of Arvi, and we will make memories, so many memories," Rohit said while his voice cracked. Natasha smiled weakly. "I love you, for being here for me." The warm, golden light of the setting sun bathed the room in a soft glow. Rohit sat at the kitchen table with Arvi, who was now a young woman. She had Natasha's bright eyes and gentle smile, a living memory of the woman he had loved so dearly. Arvi's expression was a mix of emotions, grief, curiosity, and a newfound understanding, as she absorbed the story Rohit had just shared with her. The story of her mother, Natasha, and the love that never fully bloomed between her and Rohit. "So all this time you were the one who took care of me because you promised my mom?" Arvi asked softly, her voice trembling. "Because she knew she was going to." She couldn't bring herself to finish the sentence. Rohit nodded, his eyes misting over with the pain of loss and the tenderness of cherished memories. "Yes. Your mother knew she didn't have much time left. She wanted to make sure you were safe, loved, and cared for. She trusted me with her most precious gift, you." Tears welled up in Arvi's eyes, and she blinked them away. "I always thought of you as just Uncle Rohit. I never knew you and Mom had a history like that you cared for her so much." Rohit gave a small, sad smile. "Your mother was a remarkable woman, Arvi. She was strong, kind, and full of life. I loved her, but I also respected her choices. She chose a different path, and I had to accept that. When she asked me to take care of you, I knew it was a way to honor the love I had for her and the love she had for you." Arvi's tears spilt over, and she reached out, taking Rohit's hand in hers. "Thank you, Uncle Rohit, for everything. For being there when I needed someone the most. For keeping your promise to my mom." Rohit squeezed her hand gently, his tears flowing freely now. "You don't have to thank me, Arvi. You've been a blessing in my life. You've given me a reason to keep going, to find joy even after all the loss. Taking care of you, it's what your mother wanted, and it's what I wanted too." Arvi wiped her tears with the back of her hand, a small smile breaking through her grief. "Mom was right. You're a good man, Uncle Rohit. I'm so grateful she chose you to be part of my life." Rohit's heart swelled with emotion. "And I'm grateful you've allowed me to be, Arvi. Your mother loved you more than anything in this world, and I see so much of her in you. Her kindness, her strength, her spirit, it lives on in you. Remember, no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you. Just as I promised your mother." Arvi nodded, a small, grateful smile on her face. "I know. And I'm so glad you are." As they sat together, the night falling gently around them, Rohit felt a deep sense of peace. He had kept his promise to Natasha and had been there for her daughter when she needed him most. And in doing so, he had found a new kind of love, a love that was just as deep and enduring as the one he had once felt for her mother. For Rohit, it was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything.